Hello, welcome to another episode of Jake's Metal Chat. We'll be getting on my other guests in a minute. Just going to talk to you for a minute. There will be more of these coming. Just checking some more stuff. Yep, not a lot to check really. My guest has sent the message. Oh, wait, it's on here. Yeah, he's here. You all know him probably. If you don't know him, then I'll tell you in a minute. Well, his name's Chris. If you know Chris, he's from the band Internal Bleeding. I'm going to get him on now. Here we go. Go review.
Hello.
Here we go. Got audio.
Yeah, good.
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. Just cracked open a beer, and it's been raining here so far.
Yeah, it's gonna start raining here soon too.
Oh,
but trying to enjoy a little outside weather.
That's cool. Does your camera work or not really?
Is my camera not on?
No, it's not on. I can just see your name.
Okay, hold on a minute. It should work.
Yeah, it'll be on in a minute. There we go. There's the man.
All right, cool.
There's a legend.
Stop.
In the death metal scene. So, welcome to Jake's Metal Chat, Chris.
This is cool, dude.
For taking part.
Man.
Had so many different guests so far. Well, first one was David Gregor from Mortis Scald.
Mortis Scald, sure.
I had John from Incantation very recently, so now a New Yorker.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I thought, yeah, I might as well get another New Yorker on.
How long have you been doing this?
I only started doing this end of May.
Oh, all right.
So, Cam from the Graw gave me the idea to do this, so I thought, yeah, more stuck indoors. What the hell are we going to do?
Yeah. So true. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Now, so where are you exactly?
Bristol, England.
Okay, so where's Bristol is in relation to like Manchester or London?
Way down.
Down?
Like southwest. A bit further from Manchester. It's like 2 hours from London.
Right. Okay.
Because I saw you guys at the Electro Works in 2013.
Okay. Yeah, that was a fun show.
Yeah, because I spoke to you saying, oh yeah, it was my birthday. It was my 22nd birthday that year. 4th of November.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because it was my first time seeing you there. Your Internal Bleeding, Disgorge, Beheaded. And,
yeah, that was a good tour. We had a lot of fun on that tour.
Yeah, that was really fun tour because I bought this CD there.
Oh, nice.
Which is all your demo stuff. Yeah, demo
Sick.
stuff. Because
yeah.
The first one's got Wallace Milton on it. Who's got some good vocals, because I've heard the demos, it's really good.
Right. Thank you.
So for all you out there on the YouTube, if you don't know who this man is, well, you should do if you follow Brutal Death. This is Chris. He's from Internal Bleeding. He's one of the only original members. Are you the only original member, or is there someone else?
No, sadly, I am the only original member left when Bill died in 2017. That left me.
Raise a glass.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because I saw him on that tour.
Yeah, you did.
He's a brilliant drummer. Yeah, it's sad how he passed away.
Oh, it sucks.
Very sad. So let's go back to the beginning of how you got into metal. Your favourite metal bands and
all right, so
just your music journey.
I actually have a story of how I got into metal. I was 4 years old. It was 1972. And my sister played a Black Sabbath record.
Love Sabbath.
Oh, me too. And it was Iron Man. She was playing the song Iron Man. And I just literally stopped playing I never was into music at 4 years old. But when I heard that, I had to know what it was. I ran to my sister's room. You know, she showed me what it was. It was a Black Sabbath, and ever since 4 years old, man, it's I've loved metal, and I've loved Sabbath since I was 4 years old, and
That's cool.
it hasn't ended, and my love affair with metal hasn't ended. I did go through a period in the 80s where I didn't like metal because I thought metal had lost its edge. So, like, let's say somewhere between 80 to like 83 or 4, I listened to mostly hardcore. So like Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Dead Kennedys, because I found it a lot more aggressive and a lot more iconoclastic than metal. You know, in 1980 or 81, metal had started teasing their hair, and it was the dawn of hair metal, and I thought it was ridiculous, and I kind of thought it was an insult to heavy metal in my view.
Yeah, because a lot of them just tease their hair.
Yeah.
Sort of wore makeup or whatever, wore like spandex.
Right. So I walked away from it, but then, then I started listening to Haunting the Chapel and Show No Mercy, and then got back
to that.
Got right back on course into the metal, into the metal world. Yeah, because that's my love, But I still love my hardcore, and that I listened to from back in the day. But if I'm not listening to metal, I'm usually listening to jazz or like 80s goth. That's kind of like
I like a bit of that.
What?
I like some 80s goth music. I've got a few friends here who are goths and they listen to that sort of stuff. What, the more industrial?
Yeah, sure.
More that.
Old Skinny Puppy. I love Old Skinny Puppy. Yeah. I like New Order, and I like Bauhaus and stuff like that. As a band called Vast, who I think is absolutely fantastic. They're actually a modern band, but they harken back to the 80s goth. So I have some distractions, obviously, but it's mostly metal all the time.
Always listening to metal. I'm always finding new bands because I found them. I can't remember whereabouts in America they're from. They're called Fedit. They're more like Undergang from Denmark, that sort of sound.
Undergang's awesome. Yeah,
I love that band because I got to see them play here last year at it's a metal pub called the Griffin, which I've mentioned countless times on here already. They played there in this tiny room upstairs, just hot and sweaty, everything, just playing some really heavy.
So wait, what? I was just in. Oh no, it's not in London. The Griffin, is it?
No, it's here in Bristol.
All right, because I just was in a club in London where the show was upstairs, so I was confused. And it was a really cool club, and the bar was downstairs and the show was upstairs. I can't remember what it was called, and I don't remember who we went to see. We weren't playing. Somebody else was. Like one of our friends' bands was playing.
I can name a venue in London because it's all the point about the show. Me asking you how you got into metal and just talking about stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to think now. I think it's called there's one called the Black Heart in London.
Maybe it's the Black Heart.
Was it that one?
Yeah, maybe so.
Because there's the bar downstairs as you walk in and you go through a door.
Upstairs, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
And then there's that little stage.
Yeah, that's it. That was a good time. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, really nice, really cool venue because I got to see a lot of grind bands there for a mate of mine's festival that he had on called Forced System Fest, which he mainly got gore grind, porno grind, and death grind and stuff like that on the bill.
Nice.
More into his grind.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while actually. And then I saw a Swedish death metal band play there called Wombath.
Oh, Wombath. Yeah, okay.
Wombath. Yeah, Wombath.
Wombath. I don't know how to pronounce it. I pronounce it Wombath.
Like Wombath.
Okay.
Like womb. Yeah, Wombath. It's my mate Johnny's in the band. He's got a lot of projects, which I'm not going to get into because he's got too many. So
I don't know how anybody I can't.
I don't know how many people can do these projects. I only got.
I've been trying to do a solo like Sabbath 70s.
That'd be cool to listen to.
Side project. I've been trying to do it for years, and I think I have like 100 songs in my head, and maybe a half of one recorded, and I just don't have the time.
Yeah, I'd love to see that actually.
between IB and owning my own business and family life and this and that, I just don't have the time.
Yeah, I'm just at home. I got pretty much a lot of time, but then I don't have time to do other ones because I got a death metal one to sort out. I'm working on a doom one at the moment, which is more heavy doom, more like funeral, doom, death, or just doom, death, or whatever.
Sick.
I think I'm going with more the funeral doom side, but just more. Well, it was heavy anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just. My head's everywhere today.
I get it.
I'm in a folk metal band as well, which is more in cases like Tursas and Corporate Colony, those sort of bands. I don't know if you're into folk metal.
No, not really, but I know what it is.
Yeah, I had to ask that just in case if you like it or not, but you don't, and that's fair.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
I'm not going to ram bands down your throat. I'm not that sort of person. If you don't like a thing, like you mentioned,
I love you know what? That's everybody should have that attitude. You don't like something? Oh, all right. Well,
no, there was a time when I first got into metal. I'm like, no, you got to listen to this. You got to like it. 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 But no, you can listen to whatever the hell you want.
We're not. I like to think, even though sometimes I worry that it's like that. I like one of the reasons. Another reason I got into heavy metal is that it was to me, it was very individualistic, and there was no group think. Now, sadly, I think there's a lot of group think going on, and there's less iconoclastic thinking and less heterodox thinking in the metal community, and I think there's too much conformity. But I still find myself in it, I still think it's but I think the individuality part is you need to accept people for individuals, and part of that is what you were discussing. I don't like folk metal, and your answer is, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you don't have
end the conversation. It's no big deal. You're still a metalhead.
I'll still tell you about the bands, but you don't have to listen to the bands.
Right, exactly. But we don't all have to conform to one way of thinking,
Yeah, exactly. Some people might give me other bands, like someone might give me a deathcore band. Like, I'm not a big fan of deathcore, but there might be one or two bands that like, okay, that band's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a heavy song. Don't like the music. Don't really want to listen to the band. Well, listen to the band. Listen to one song because I might find one song I like, but I might not listen to the actual band themselves.
Right, but then you're not a true death metal head because you listen to a deathcore song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so people's like, you're not a true death metaler. It's like,
right, yeah, whatever.
Well, I don't really listen to deathcore anyway. I might find one something, oh, that's all right, but I don't like the genre, so I'll just push it that way.
Right.
That way, it's going that way, and then there's no deathcore in my CD collection. It's all death metal, thrash metal, doom metal, grindcore, gore grind, folk metal.
What kind of thrash? So what kind of thrash metal do you like?
Well, like
because I have
Slayer.
Okay, yeah.
Obviously Slayer, of course, and there's Violator from Brazil. I love Violator. Obviously the Bay Area thrash like Exodus, can't go wrong with that.
Right.
What else? Testament, of course, because I got to meet Steve DiGiorgio before this pandemic went turned everything to shit.
Now, Testament is an interesting band because I started out thinking that Testament was like a second-rate Metallica ripoff.
Okay.
Their early albums are pure Metallica ripoffs to me. But they've grown into a great band.
Yeah.
They've matured so much and grown into a great band with their own style now, and I love them now. I didn't like them back then, and I don't like their earlier albums.
That's funny.
But the last couple that they put out have been really good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I've heard the new album. It's absolutely brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's great. Album. I just heard it. I was like, wow, because they played one song on the tour that I went and saw them at, and it was brilliant.
Chuck Billy's come into his own with his voice and everything. It's good to see.
He's a brilliant vocalist.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant vocalist. He's one of my favourites in the thrash metal scene, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Cool. See, now I have an issue.
I've got a lot of favourites, but he's one of them.
Right. See, now I have an issue with thrash.
Okay.
And it's the damn beat. That boot, 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 that beat. Oh my God, I can't stand it. It's so happy sounding.
It's like you're
So
just skipping along with something, but
so sometimes I'm like, like sometimes, like if you listen to IB, that beats that specific beat. I think you hear it maybe once in our whole career because I can't stand it. Anytime I hear it, I cringe.
it's just like,
and I know that's the backbone of a lot of thrash. I know that's the backbone of a lot of thrash, and you know, it depends on the guitar riff, of course.
Yeah,
but
cool.
you know, Suffocation uses that boot a lot. I would never use it, but they managed to pull it off without me getting angry. And there's other bands that
this is like, oh, don't use it. Oh, that's cool.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Yeah.
Oh, it's for. Oh no, wait. You got the heavy guitar riffs in the vocals. It's good.
It's just sometimes when thrash bands use it, it's too bouncy and happy, and it's like,
I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, definitely.
You know, so sometimes I have a problem with some thrash bands when they do it, and I'm listening to the riff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like. So I think that's probably one of the reasons I don't like Anthrax. A lot of Anthrax.
Oh yeah, Anthrax tends to use it a lot, but I still like Anthrax. But I'm more into I'm more into my German style thrash, like Creator, Sodom.
Well, that's it's more brutal. That's why.
I got to see Tankard last year in Scotland, and I actually bumped into him at the airport when I was coming back home.
Oh, nice.
So I got a picture of him. It's like,
oh, cool, good.
I just went. I was with my mate Simon. He's like, "Is that Tankard?" I was like, "I think it is." And I saw the scene and turned up. Yeah, that's Tankard.
Oh, so cool. That's awesome.
Just chatted to him, and that was cool because I didn't get the bump into him when they were playing Lords of the Land Fest, which had Anil Nathrak, Belphegor, the Black Dahlia Murder, and just a bunch of bands.
God damn it!
All the way up north, so Scotland.
Cool.
So where did the name Internal Bleeding come from? Who came up with that name?
I came up with the name, and I came up with it. Okay, so my dad used to have. Thank God I have a decent memory. My dad used to be back when the band first started, and I lived at my parents' house.
Right.
My dad had a dark room in the basement.
Right.
Okay, and that's where I used to go to smoke cigarettes and drink and do whatever out of my parents' view. So I had started a band, or it was me alone, with a couple of riffs, and I was like, what is this band going to be called? Blah blah blah. It's got to be the heaviest thing in the world. Cool. And then I was playing like word association games, and then I stumbled on what would be so heavy that your insides collapse? What happens when your insides collapse? And then I got to the phrase internal bleeding. And then I thought it was kind of catchy, and nobody was using it, and as far as I knew, and I thought it's not like a crazy name, it's just kind of a cool name. So I ran with it.
Yeah, because when you get a death metal band, you got to think of a death metal sort of names over, like, for example, Cannibal Corpse or Suffocation or
It wasn't. I didn't think the name was too over the top or crazy.
No.
I think. Listen, I like the name Cannibal Corpse, but I was like,
run Cannibal Corpse now.
Yeah, I was like,
they got me into death metal.
I was like, I didn't want a name like that because
too over the top.
Yeah, and it I don't think it encompassed exactly what I wanted the band to do.
No.
So, it's interesting. I mean, I could talk for hours about this.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's how I came up with the name.
That's how you came up with the name. That's cool.
When I pictured Internal Bleeding, when I came up with the name, I picture where we are now.
Right.
I don't picture where we were on our first couple of demos.
No.
And this and that, because we were always working towards something.
Yeah.
And I think we're finally, and it has to do, I think, with me being a better musician. we finally got to the place where I think where I think I wanted to be in my head.
Of course.
So it's been a fun journey. A lot of exploration, a lot of learning.
Yeah.
A lot of slam riffs.
Slam.
Yeah.
Because Metallum's pretty much writ something saying you're one of the precursors of the slam style in death metal. Is that fair to say, or not really?
It's not fair because we're not the precursor. We invented the term.
Oh, that's what they put on them.
As applied to death metal, we invented the term. We're the first death metal band to call our music slam.
Invented.
Took slam.
That makes more sense.
We took slam from the punk rock scene because we couldn't. Me and Bill and all of us hated Anthrax, and they used the word mosh.
Oh yeah, caught in the mosh.
We couldn't stand the word mosh because Anthrax used it. So
they
Billy
used it a lot.
Billy said, "We're a fucking slam band. We write slam riffs. That's what we do.
We're gonna write slam."
And so that's how slam was born, and we were using it before anybody else. And anybody else who says anything to the contrary,
well, it's just what I saw in Metallum. That's what they put, but I'm thinking it can't be right.
Yeah. So that's kind of. So I guess we could be considered a precursor, even though we're the actual inventors of it.
Well, yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess you can, because modern slam is way different than what
you were doing back then.
Right. And, well, some of it's the same, but a lot of it's different, and it's become turned into this beast of its own that kind of is very conformist and the same again.
Yeah, I get, yeah. Because I have a lot of mates who love slam, and you always see them at the slam gigs when it's like an old school death metal band. You don't really see them there because they don't like what's going on in like the old school style. But me personally, I love old school, but I love slam as well.
I like both, but I just find that a lot of modern slam bands only use like one riff.
Yeah.
The same style riff. To me, slam is not about that riff that just goes jung, jung, jung. Slam is about groove, constant groove all the time. Even the fast parts have to be groovy. Everything has to be groovy. It's all hooks. The way I look at it is it's kind of like 70s rock and roll, but it's death metal. It's very hooky, very catchy. Well, but very groovy, and everything.
That's what I like about it.
Right, everything has to be groovy. That's my personal take.
That's why I love your music, because it's groovy. It's got that. It's heavy, but it's got that groove in there as well.
Right, every riff. Well, I mean, there's some that don't, but most of the riffs catch you and pull you in. Yep. And if your body's not moving, your head's moving, or your legs moving, or something's moving, and that's to me that's what slam is getting your body moving. It's that every riff can be a slam riff. It just has to be written. The riff has to be written a certain way. Certain tension has to be built up. The hook has to be right.
Yep.
And when it's right, people are going to go nuts.
Definitely. Because my whole body was moving when I first saw you guys. My head, my legs, everything was.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean,
because I was just like, because the first time I heard you guys was the song "Anointed in Servitude" from your first album, "Gracious Contempt," which is brilliant, by the way. I love it.
Thank you.
I love because when I heard it, "Anointed in Servitude," that bass bit where it goes do 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 do, and then. I was like, what is this? Because it's one of my mates that got me into it. It's like, oh, listen to this band, Internal Bleeding. Okay. Because I was kind of into that brutal, slamming, death metal, I don't want to say phase, that bit in at that time, because I was like, all right, let's give old school death metal a bit of a rest. Let's listen to something else. Who's this? Internal Bleeding. Cool.
That's awesome.
I love this band now.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Much appreciated.
And also, I got this one.
Oh, yeah. Extinction.
I love this one.
Yeah, you see now that is one of my favorite IB albums, and very few people know it. Yes, very few people know about that album. Like, they skip over that album and go right to Driven to Conquer, and they forget about Extinction and Benevolence, which I think is definitely the heaviest album we ever put out. It is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I can agree with that, because I've heard it. It's just heaviness after heaviness after heaviness after heaviness after heaviness, and I'm just like, wow, heaviness.
That album does not give up, and a lot.
No, that's what I like about it.
A lot of people don't know about it.
That sucks. Why no one knows? So,
especially since it's one of my favorites in our whole history.
So, metalheads out there, remember this album, please. don't just listen to the first album, skip over this one, go to the other ones. No.
Yes.
This one.
Distinct and Benevolence. It's one of my personal favorites.
Yeah, that's a great one. I still need to get your first album. I don't have it yet.
Well, I think it's I just saw it on somebody was selling it on Discogs for like $900 or something like that.
I'm not paying. I would just get it from you.
An original press, you know. I think it was like somebody sent it to me. It was like $982 or something like that.
Yeah, there's another thing. People are always selling albums.
You can still find them if you can go to a record store and find a used bin. You can still find them.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's just unfortunate we don't. Well, because I managed to find your recent album, Corrupting Influence, in HMV. I got it at a festival. I'm trying to remember. It might have been HMV, which is a big music outlet here. And I might as well show that now. This is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah,
I love it.
That's where I think we should have been when we first started the band.
It's my favorite album from 2018, definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that album.
Yeah, because it shows you put a lot of effort into it. You've mapped everything out, how the guitars are going to sound, how the bass is going to sound, the drums, the vocals, how everything's just going to mix together. And yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're welcome. I see you're wearing is that a Oakland Raiders hat?
Yes.
You're an Oakland Raiders fan, I'm guessing?
Yeah, ever since I was a little kid.
I'm a LA Rams fan.
Okay, cool.
Because I only got into it, 2018 actually, when I got that.
You only got into American football in 2018?
Yeah, I kind of had a good interest in it anyway, just from watching like The Simpsons and other things where American football always got talked about. And I heard the Rams on there, the Raiders, and who else? Seattle Seahawks and all that on there. And like, okay, these sound like American football teams, and kind of had an interest in it, but I didn't properly start watching any of it until that year. Because my mate took me to an open event in London in Piccadilly Circus, I think, or Piccadilly Square. I'm trying to remember now. It's a square in London. And
I know where it is.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like they just closed one bit of the street off and have everything NFL.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah, because we went and saw the Chargers versus the Titans a month after that, which was good. Well, I thought, all right, the Rams is my main team, but the Chargers are pretty good. Well, not pretty good, they are good. So I thought,
yeah, of course,
I'll go check them out. And my mate actually saw the Raiders last year in London.
Yeah, they played in London last year. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat. They beat the Bears. That's it. It was the Bears and the Raiders.
I'm not so much. I mean, I still like the Raiders, but I'm not. I mean, they obviously suck now.
Well,
but when I was a kid, they were the badasses of the football field. You know, they used to beat everybody up. You know, well, football was different when I was a kid. Now football's too safe. You know, it was a lot more. When I was a kid, football was a lot more rough and tumble. A lot more people got hurt, killed. And the Raiders were the king of it. You know, they were the kings of playing dirty and cheating and all kinds of stuff. And I just loved them for it. You know.
Yeah, because I watched a few of their games. I think I watched the Rams against them last year or the year before, like when they were doing the divisions, and then when they got to the Super Bowl, it was the Rams and the Pats. I'm not a fan of the Pats. I'm pointing out now.
All right, that's fine.
I was watching.
Neither am I, so it doesn't matter.
I was watching the Super Bowl here in Bristol. I went to a sports bar called All Stars. They were having it on there, and I was just shouting at one of the players, going, "What are you doing? Throw the ball!" It's like, come on. I'm just like, oh.
So now, let me ask you: were there a lot of people at the bar watching the Super Bowl? The pub?
Yeah, that was a lot. There was a lot of people there. You can.
Oh, has American football caught on in the UK? I mean, like a lot of people.
It caught on here like way before I was born in the 80s. Like, because a mate of mine, he's been in the metal scene for a long time. He saw the Bears in '86 or something in London.
Oh, okay.
And my uncle Mark I think he saw the Rams. I think he saw the Rams like the same year or something, but I can't remember. He said he saw them.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so it was caught. It was kind of catching on at that point. Now it's caught on a lot more. Now you're just going to see a lot of British people wearing jerseys of like the Raiders or the Rams or the
That's
Eagles,
awesome.
the Jags.
That's cool.
So it's like, what were you drinking?
I was drinking Balvenie Doublewood.
Is that a whiskey or?
It's a Scotch. It's a Scotch. Yeah. I decided to have a Scotch today.
Yeah,
Usually I drink bourbon, which is the quintessential American brown liquor.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was feeling Scotch today.
Yeah, so, I was feeling this today.
Punk IPA. Okay.
Yeah, Brewdog. So.
I like a good IPA.
Yeah, this is a nice one. Well, on the side it says postmodern classic.
All right, there you go. Now is it bitter?
No, not that bitter. No.
No. Okay.
No, not really. So let's go. Let's go back to like internal bleeding. Like, obviously, you didn't release an album until '95.
Right.
Is there any reason for that?
Yeah.
I think you said in one interview there was a reason. Like someone typed it up on their website. I can't remember the reason.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. One of the reasons was nobody was paying attention. Okay, so fans were paying attention to us, quite obviously. I mean, we set out on our own tours and did our own tours in the 90s, and they were very successful. But record labels wouldn't give us any credibility or interest at all. I mean, I have rejection letters from every label,
every label at that. What? So every single label.
Pretty much.
Oof.
Oh, you're nothing different, blah, blah, blah. They're all fucking, they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. Nobody had seen a band like us before with all groove all the time in the death metal world, but these people didn't have the foresight to see the future. Whatever. So it took the Milwaukee Metal Fest in 1994 when we finally got a break on a stage in front of a lot of label people. And we played, and we brought the whole place down. We destroyed the place.
Yeah, I was watching footage from that while it was you were playing a night in Surbiton, and everyone was just going nuts. Even your vocalist at the time, I'm trying to remember his name. Who was your vocalist at the time?
Frank Rini did the first one.
That's it. Was he? Hang on a minute. He was on this one.
He didn't. Yeah, that's Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was just going. Was that Frank on stage with you, or was that someone else?
No, that was Frank.
That was Frank. He was just going nuts on stage. He was doing all like the swinging his arms around. So if anyone got on stage, they would have just got knocked out.
Yeah, he was
doing all the hardcore, like sort of what.
Yeah, totally. And back then
now, which is annoying.
Yeah, I know. But
on stage, it's fine because he's got all that space because you're all spread out.
And Frank back then, Frank was huge, like built. I mean,
yeah, I can tell on like
bench press 400 pounds, this, that, he's a monster. And,
yeah, that's mental.
He'd always jump into the crowd and drop elbows on people and stuff like that. Well, so finally, we played that show, and then we got signed to Pavement Records, and they kind of ruined our career. So.
Wow, what a bunch of dicks.
They didn't ruin well, the first album, they gave us a lot of support.
Oh, that's good. All right, I'll take the dick bit back.
And then after that, the money dried up, and that's why nobody knows about the second album.
Which,
Extinction.
Hopefully from this episode, people will. I'm going to keep showing it until people...
That's why nobody knows about the album.
Listen to this album. Please.
Payment gave us no money, no tour support, nothing. So we couldn't go out and tour for the album. We couldn't do anything.
That just sucks.
Yeah. And then, so we've just had bad relationships with labels ever since, except, we're on Unique Leader now, and it's the first label that at least understands us and supports us.
Yeah, Unique. Yeah, right there.
Yep.
Yep.
So first label we've been on, well, that's not true. When we were on Olympic Records for a short time before Olympic Records sold to Century Media. And Marty, the owner of Olympic Records, was probably one of the coolest dudes ever.
Nice.
He was very supportive of us, let us do whatever we want, gave us total artistic freedom. So he was great, you know. So I can't just say Unique Leader was the only label. Even though we were on Marty's label for Olympic for like, we put out a compilation with him with one new song, Alien Breed. But he was great. He was great to work with, you know, and Unique cool. Leader's great to work with too. So
yeah, that's because Unique Leaders brought out a lot of good stuff, well, a lot of great stuff. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this, well, like I said earlier, this is one of them.
Yeah,
love it.
And Eric,
I will continue to rate this album. I will continue to rate it.
Thank you. Eric Lindmark, who before he died, was very supportive of the band.
Yeah, that's, I'll raise a bit to him as well.
Hell yeah. He jumped at the chance to sign us when we said we were looking for a label. You know, he was a great man. And Jamie, who runs things now, is great too. So we're pretty happy.
That's
we're in a good spot.
You found that label and you're there.
We found the label. We're there.
Supporting you and everything's is all good.
And we're lucky. We're doing. You know, we finally got a band together that can do a lot of touring. So we've been doing. We've been doing a lot of touring. You know, a couple of European runs, a lot of U.S. tours, festivals. You know, so even though I'm getting a little long in the tooth and getting old, at least we're finally back where this is where I pictured us being all those years ago. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Finally there and able to put out material, tour, meet fans, hang out, you know, and do everything that I've always wanted to do. So like it's a dream come true from when I was a little kid, you know.
Big thumbs up there.
Yeah. No complaints.
Yeah, because you were meant to go on tour, I think early this year with Cattle Decapitation and who else was on that tour? It was you, Cattle Decap.
Oh God, you put me on the spot.
No, I'm trying to remember. If we can't remember, we'll move on.
Yeah, then move on because I got stuck. I was just talking about it last week too with Travis, and I can't remember.
We'll move on. We'll move on.
No offense to the bands that were on tour.
No, obviously not. Well, because I saw Cattle Decapitation first time in Cardiff in 2017. Then I saw them last year, where you were going to be playing with them this year at the Fleece.
Right.
Which is a good venue, but just be wary if you've got someone on your back and you're in the pit, make sure you're nowhere near the poles, because my mate headbutted one of the poles during Napalm Death in 2011, and now he's got a scar on his left eyebrow.
Oh, no.
Left.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I turned around and I was like, okay, now. And just went back to watching Napalm Death. I was like, he didn't go to A&E straight away. He went to a kebab takeaway, like a takeaway to get a kebab or whatever, and then he went to A&E.
Oh, okay. Oh my God!
This is a mate of mine I've known for 10 years now.
Crazy. I don't do going in the crowd anymore. I'm too old.
I don't do mosh pits that much unless it's like I'll mosh for Gojira or Meshuggah or whoever. Right. I'll get in the pit for them or. I'll be like, I'll watch. Well, for you, it would be watch and then get in the pit for a bit and then get out.
Right. Yeah, I can't do that anymore, man. My body betrays me too much. I'm 52 years old, so.
Nah, you know.
Things get hurt really easily on me, which kind of
I'm
sucks.
28 and I still get bruises if there's someone who's doing it way too rough. Because you get those who take it way too seriously. They take it too seriously. There's some of those. They take it too seriously. That's why I don't get in the pit that much. Because I'm just sick of them taking it too seriously. So, no, you're there to have fun. You're not there to actually
hurt somebody.
Physically hurt somebody.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
Stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
Totally.
Absolutely stupid. Well, because you came out, the Internal Brain came out the whole, the New York metal scene. Because you had mortician, immolation, incantation, suffocation. There's a lot of shins. There's a lot of shins.
Yeah. There's also New York and New Jersey had some really great bands back in the day. You know,
I've been to New York.
What?
I've been to New York. I went there in 2002. Cool. That was the only time we've been, and that was
nice.
After 9/11.
Right.
well, it might not have been the perfect time to go, but whatever.
But as long as you got to go,
got
that's
to go.
cool.
Got to go to the Empire State Building, and didn't get to go on the Liberty Island. Didn't got the Statue of Liberty or anything.
Awesome.
I went to New Jersey. I'm trying to remember where in New Jersey, but I think I went to New Jersey.
You don't want. There's nothing in New Jersey.
I'll just go to New Jersey. Because I'm always hearing like, oh yeah, New York, nice bagels. I'll just go there and get a bagel.
Yeah, you gotta get a bagel and pizza in New York.
I've had the pizzas there; they're delicious.
Yeah, New Jersey has really good pizza too. I mean, I like New York pizza.
That's where I got pizza from.
I personally prefer the pizza where I live out on Long Island compared to pizza in New York City. But New York City pizza is really good, and New Jersey pizza is really good. But then you get outside those areas, and pizza just sucks. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
I don't know if it's the water. I don't know if it's like you don't have enough Italians per square foot. I don't know what it is,
Yeah, that's what I know about New York. It's like, go over and you see like a lot of Italians because obviously a lot of them migrated over there, which is good because otherwise you wouldn't have delicious pizzas.
Right. And, exactly. Same with Jewish people. New York's filled with Jewish people.
That's I've known
great bagels.
Italians,
I mean,
Irish as well. A lot of Irish immigrants.
Yeah, it's one of the great things about New York is that you can.
That's what I like. It's so diverse.
Right. You can literally go to New York and travel the world via food and drink just in New York.
Yeah, of course, when I went there in 2002, I was too young to drink.
Well, yeah, okay.
I was only 10, 11 years old when I went.
Yeah, but you guys invented the pub, so I mean, it's like.
Yep.
I don't know about the drinking in New York as compared to like the UK. When we went to London, on that Disgorge tour, we went to I don't know how many pubs we went to, because I just wanted to go to pub. Well, because before that, the last time I was in the UK was 1976 or 1977 with my parents.
Oh, cool! What was that for?
Sightseeing.
Sightseeing. Nice.
We just went on. My parents took us to England, to London.
London. I was going to say where.
Oh yeah, no, London, which was a big thing for me since I'm a big history buff. So going to London was huge for me. My father took me to the Imperial War Museum, all that, and that's all the stuff I was into as a kid. It was just great, and seeing the changing of the guard and all that stuff. Being a history fanatic, all that stuff was so cool to me. But then when I got older, it's like I gotta go to a pub and I gotta have bangers and mash. Two things.
That's a big thing here. Bangers and mash, which is
yeah. So we went that first tour. I think I went to 4 pubs and had 4 servings of bangers and mash. I had such great.
You can't. Because I remember going to Florida. I went to the what was it? Epcot. And there's a British section, and it had a fish and chip pot, and I was like, "Do you think we just eat fish and chips and roast dinners? We eat your stuff as well."
I know, but fish and chips is a
I love fish and chips. I love fish and chips. I got to have a big bit of fish and a lot of chips. And I got to just I don't put salt and vinegar on. That's just.
Oh yeah, I love malted vinegar. Oh god,
it's just me. I don't put a lot of salt on or any vinegar on. I just put pepper on and some mayonnaise, and I'm done.
Oh okay, I'm a malted vinegar.
Or tartar sauce.
Okay, I'm a malted vinegar guy. Malted vinegar and pepper.
Sometimes I put vinegar on, not too much, just a little.
That's my thing. And it's funny, when I was a kid, and we went to London and we got fish and chips. I got mad because I thought I was getting, what you call crisps, potato chips.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
We call them crisps.
When you're a New Yorker, chips are potato chips or crisps. And I'm like, these are French fries. These aren't chips. I ate them anyway, but I was just,
Oh gosh!
But when you're 7 or 8 years old, you don't know. And
I've never
been to another country before.
Oh, well, the first time I went to America, I was 7. That was Florida, and having potato chips and big ass burgers and big ass pizza and going to McDonald's and seeing bigger sized burgers or whatever. It's like,
all right,
okay.
Yeah, we're crazy over here with our food.
Yeah, this is what I've noticed. Everything's big. Why is everything big in America?
Because we're America. That's why. Because we can.
There you go, folks. You're American. It's because it's America. It's America. Everything's big. Just be prepared if you're going there for the first time. Not at the moment because of this stupid pandemic, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. The American, I don't know, the American philosophy is bigger, better, and badder. I mean, that's how we are.
I'm not going to argue that.
Whether you like it or not, it's just, that's our attitude. Bigger,
I'm not going to argue that at all.
The health, it's not healthy at all, but
no.
Hold 1 second. Yes.
Mom's in the shower. You gotta do it. So, and she said you gotta drink
I can't do it yet. I'm in the middle of an interview. All right, hang on. Can you hang on 30 seconds?
Yeah, I can just.
All right. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll just chat with the audience.
I have a little crisis with my son. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you saw it. Well, chat's going well, folks. Also been chatting a lot about the course. Like he said, everyone tends to skip over this one quite a bit. Which is, it's a fantastic album. It's late 90s. I think this was 97. I want to say 97, folks. Yeah, Chris will be back very soon. People got to do things during these chats. It's all good. I don't really mind. I'm gonna have a look. Oh, he's back.
So my son had to. My 9-year-old son doesn't know how to drain the spaghetti, so I had to go drain the spaghetti.
Drain spaghetti. Just put in the
in the colander. Yeah.
Well, you say colander, whatever. Well, I'm not correcting people today. I made spaghetti. What? Tuesday? Spaghetti carbonara.
Oh, you know what? I haven't eaten carbs. I don't do carbs.
Oh,
I love spaghetti. Spaghetti's my favorite. But I don't really eat carbs anymore. So I only have spaghetti once in a blue moon, and I prefer spaghetti blue moon.
I don't eat that much. I eat a lot of pasta because it tends to last a bit longer than most things.
Oh yeah, you make pasta, you can keep it in the fridge for a week and just pick at it and
So yeah, that's why I just make a big pasta bake and just tuna pasta bake. That is enough for me and my dad because I live with my dad still until this pandemic's over, and then I can learn to drive, pass my tests, get my business up and running, like gardening, doing some gardening.
What business?
Gardening. Working in people's gardens.
Okay, cool.
Because I worked on a farm from 2017 to 2018 and enjoyed it.
Oh, really?
And I was there when 2 of the female pigs were giving birth to their piglets.
That's awesome, dude.
It's cool. I love being outdoors. It was hammering it down earlier. I was looking out there. It was just like, psh, it's like, good thing I don't work on a farm at the moment.
Yeah, really.
Just like,
well, you guys get a lot of rain out there, don't you?
Yeah, in summer we get rain. In autumn and winter, rain. Spring, rain. So yeah, British summer, rain.
I see. I couldn't deal with that.
Stupid.
I could not deal with it.
But there have been times where I went to a festival. It's called Download.
Yeah, sure.
They don't get a lot of heavy bands like you guys all. They had Dying Fetus there one year, and they were meant to play this year. And that would be like, cool, I'm done. Seen Obituary, seen Dying Fetus, seen Gojira. I'm going back to the tent. Sod this.
Yeah, really.
It's an all right festival, but it sucks because you've got to walk from your campsite, and it's like an hour to the arena. It's rubbish.
That's how long it takes to walk there.
It feels longer than that because it's a racetrack.
Right.
Donington racetrack.
Oh, okay.
So it's a big track. So they had to use the track for like transporting guests, like the campers and the bands and whoever else.
Right.
So yeah, let's go back to like Mortician. Did you ever play with Mortician and Immolation and those guys when you started out?
Yeah, we played with Mortician a ton of times. I don't know how many times.
I love Mortician. There's still a band on my list I need to see.
Yeah, they're fun to see live. We played with them a million times. And Immolation.
Seen Immolation.
Our first U.S. tour was with Immolation in '96 with 6 Feet Under.
Nice.
So it was us, Immolation, and 6 Feet Under. And other New York bands. We did a U.S. tour with Suffocation and Pyrexia.
Pyrexia, yeah, I got to see Pyrexia.
In 2014. So I think we played with Morpheus Descends numerous times.
Yeah, a great band. I love
a great New York band that nobody really mentions when they mention New York death metal, which I think they should.
Well, it's a perfect time to mention it to people who may not know who they are.
Yeah, Morpheus Descends is great. Very,
I love the first album.
Oh yes, it's great. Very old school, great stuff.
I love
there's a lot of good stuff from New York and New Jersey that a lot of people never got to discover, I guess.
Because it tends to get overshadowed sometimes.
Or like
overlooked.
Mortal Decay, an amazing band from New Jersey.
Oh yeah, I was checking out their 93 demo. 93 demo.
Yeah, they're a great fucking band. Demonacy from New Jersey. They're not around anymore, but they were a great band back in the day.
Yeah, Cam mentioned them a few times. Cam from the Gore, he mentioned them a few times.
Yeah, Vicious Circle, another fucking great band from Jersey. New York has Afterbirth, Pyrexia.
Yeah, I saw Pyrexia.
Vomit Forth. I don't know if you know who they are. They're a new band. You got to check them out. They're
check
really
it out. I'm always checking out new bands. So thank you for that recommendation.
Yeah, Vomit Forth's awesome. Young guys, but they know how to write riffs.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of bands that I can recommend to you, like a bunch of really great death metal bands.
Cool.
Which I'll send you a link to.
Yeah, please do.
Well,
please do. I'm always out for new stuff.
Yeah, because half of them now have played Bloodstock, which is a big metal festival here.
Right.
Hence what I'm drinking my beer out of. And
I need to play more festivals.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you get on Bloodstock, then a lot of people are like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
Especially in the Sophie Lancaster tent, because there's a tent, but you go in there and the sound's just in there, but it sometimes drowns out there. So you're like, oh, who's this band playing? And I'm like,
really?
I know. I know who this band is.
Awesome.
I know who this band, like, if you were playing, like, who's this band playing now? Internal Bleeding. Who are they? How do you not know who Internal Bleeding are? It's like, well, I don't listen to heavier stuff like you do.
Thank you, bros.
Come with me. Go watch some New York slam.
There you go.
Cool slam. The old school slam, I gotta say. And who's on your hoodie?
Vomit Remnant?
Oh yeah, that's they're from Japan, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard them. I was like,
we did a Japanese tour with them last year.
Yeah, they're a pretty good band.
Where I think I actually contracted coronavirus when we were going through the airport in China. I think I got coronavirus because when I got home from Japan, I was sick for 9 weeks.
Jeez.
With some kind of respiratory problem.
That is not good.
Yeah, I went through 2 rounds of antibiotics, 2 rounds of steroids. Nothing would get rid of it, and then it finally went away. But it was like 9 weeks of coughing and having trouble breathing, and I thought I had lung cancer or something.
That's because you don't know if you got coronavirus. The symptoms is like shortness of breath.
Yeah, but when this was like in December, January. And nobody really knew what it was, so they didn't have a test for it or anything like that.
You heard it on the news. It's like, coronavirus pandemic. It's like,
yeah, crazy.
What?
Just crazy.
What's this coronavirus? I know what Corona is. That's a beer. But what the hell's this? And then I've seen, because when it was like sort of like new and everything, and some people were like joking about it or whatever. Someone put like, "Well, I just bought Corona." It's like, are you really going to joke about it now? Just add a bit into it, fine.
It's a bit crazy. I'll tell you that.
Crazy. No, because I've had people who have symptoms on it, so I can't really joke about it because I got my mum and my brother and a mate of mine who work for the NHS here. So
they'll tell you it's
on every bloody day.
Right, and they'll tell you it's not bullshit.
It's not bullshit. No, because I worry about my mum every day. She's.
Of course, you have to.
She's 53 years old now, and I still worry about her.
No,
She
she's
worries,
as old.
worries about me and my brother.
She's as old as I am.
Yeah, she's born in 1967.
She's a year older than me.
Oh, you're 68.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, my mum beats you there, age-wise.
Yeah, she beats me by 1 year.
By 1 year. No, you're not. You're not old. You're 21.
I wish.
You wish. I haven't been 21 since 2012.
I'm definitely mentally 21. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I sometimes act like I'm 17 or something when I'm like just at a festival. Like, yeah, I'll just act like a stupid teenager again.
That's good. That's good, man. That's what keeps you young.
Because if I just act like I am now, 28, and I'll be 30 in a year, don't want to think about that too much. But some people freak out when he reaches a certain age. It's like, oh, I'm turning 30, so I gotta get really bollocks at a pub. Why? My brother's 31. He didn't freak out, and he's not a big drinker.
I never freaked out about my age. The only time I ever freaked out about my age was, I think, when I turned 50. I was like, oh my fucking God.
It's like, oh, big 5.
Other than that,
that's it. That's the end of my life.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I feel like I'm 18. You know?
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like I'm back to being like 16, 17, 18. Sometimes 19 at some bits.
Music keeps me young, so I'm glad.
Yeah, because I saw, like, going back to the first time I saw you when I was 22, I was acting like I was 18 back at the age of 22.
That's awesome. That's how it should be.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That should be when you're at a gig. It's like, yeah, just go nuts. You can act like a kid.
Yeah, that's what it's for, man. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, it's
just act like a kid. It's all good, man. Because first band I saw, first metal band actually, was Motorhead.
Okay, cool.
Who's the first band you saw?
Black Sabbath. 1978 with Van Halen.
That is epic.
It was epic.
That is cool.
It was epic. I was only 11, so I didn't really know. I just knew I loved Black Sabbath.
Sabbath, yeah.
And
I love Black Sabbath. You know, and I got a funny story about Black Sabbath. Not them personally, but just going to see him for the first time in 2012. My mate Chris, he got married last year, and his wife's also a friend of mine. So to get to the wedding bit, it's like, who are you here to see? The bride? Are you here for the bride or the groom? Both. Can I just sit in the middle? Well, I was a groomsman for his wedding. So it'd be good. No, it would kind of suck if you went to a wedding, you were the groomsman, and then you couldn't go. It's like,
yeah.
He's been my mate for 10 years now, and if I didn't go to his wedding, he'd probably be like, you disgust me, just like that, and just walk off. Dude, but no, I love the man to death. I actually got a picture, just show you quickly before we get onto the Black Sabbath story. Shit. There we go. Got married early on. That was a wedding day. And I'm somewhere over, oh, for fuck's sake, where am I? Yeah, there. Right there, I got right there. I had to wear a teal tie because groomsman, he was wearing a pink, purpley cravat, which is some oversized bloody tie. And I was wearing a teal tie with 4 other groomsmen.
Cool.
But yeah. So because this is going into, well, I thought I mentioned my mate because I'm mentioning Black Sabbath. He's a big Black Sabbath fan. His dad's a Black Sabbath fan. My auntie got tickets for when they reformed in 2012, and I messaged him on Facebook saying, "So, I got 2 tickets for Black Sabbath. Do you want to go?" I did not hear from him for like 5 minutes, and the reason for that is he was jumping on his sofa with excitement because he was going to Black Sabbath.
Like a little kid, right?
Like a little kid. I was just like,
awesome.
Are you going to reply? And he goes like, yes. Cool, we'll come pick you up and we'll go down to Birmingham.
Ah, that's awesome.
I was just.
Oh, and it was in Birmingham too?
Yeah, it was at the O2 in Birmingham.
That's even better.
Well, yeah. Well, we're seeing a Birmingham band at the Bourbon too. So it was like,
right, yeah,
how
that would be
fitting is that?
that would be my ultimate dream, is to see Sabbath in Birmingham.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was brilliant because I got to see him there, and then a month later I saw him at Download. I was meant to do the camping, but then I didn't think my mates could sort out like tickets or get offered college or work or whatever, so I just ended up going for the day to watch Black Sabbath. But before they were on, it was Soundgarden, Megadeth, and Lamb of God.
Oh, that's not bad.
I just stayed for all four.
Yeah, there you go. That's
So
awesome.
I love Lamb of God still. I love Soundgarden. I still like Megadeth. My favorite album is still going to be Rust in Peace.
Yeah, if I had to choose a Megadeth album, I think Rust in Peace is
it's my favorite.
That would be my favorite. I'm not a big fan of them. I like them, but I'm not a huge fan.
It's my favorite of all time, I have to say. If anyone disagrees with me on that, that's fine.
That's it. We're not friends.
We're not. Well, if someone says, "Oh, you got to love all Megadeth if you're a fan of Megadeth," it's like, well, I do like Peace House, but who's buying? But you know,
my
more
favorite
death metal.
My favorite guitar solo is still the guitar solo from Hangar 18. So
oh yeah, I love that one.
That whole section at the end where the tempo keeps changing and the solo keeps changing. That's some serious musicianship.
Yeah, I love it when it's like yeah,
it's great. And then it picks up the tempo, and then it does it again. It picks up the tempo, and the solo picks up with it. It's just crazy.
It's mental how
it is
how amazing
really
that is.
Yeah,
it's just. And well, you're smoking a cigar like a true cigar smoker.
Yeah.
That is a fat one.
Yeah,
that's fat.
It was 6 inches by 60 ring gauge, which is pretty fat. I don't want it to end because it's really tasty, but it'll be over soon. And then I'll have another one later, maybe.
Probably. Well, I'm gonna have another
beer. The weather holds out.
I'm gonna have another beer later because I'm now empty.
Uh-oh, not good.
I'm empty. Never mind. Yes, out of all the bands you've ever played with, who's been your favourite? Like to go on tour with, play with, or just in general to hang out with?
Well, obviously, anytime we tour with Suffocation, it's great because we've been friends for years.
Yeah, because you're all in the same area, you're all in the same city,
right? And we're all very close with each other.
That's just good. You need that, brother.
So going on tour with them is like being on a rodeo and having a good time.
Yeah.
I can't. It's hard to pick a favorite because every band has their own
unique.
Right. So I've been on tour. Every band I've been like like when we went on tour with Disgorged and Beheaded.
Love those bands.
Oh, me too. And it was funny with Beheaded. So we shared a van. We shared a van with Beheaded, and Disgorged had their own van. And the first couple of days were like kind of like uncomfortable, because I think they thought that we were these loud, obnoxious New Yorkers, and we were cursing and fucking this and that.
And that, and the other.
And then I think it was Dave, the bassist, like broke the ice. He like turned around and he did like an awesome Robert De Niro impression.
I love Robert De Niro.
Right. And everybody just started laughing. And then from then on, that whole fucking tour, we just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Those guys were so cool,
Yeah.
So it works like that kind of. It works like that. Like the last tour we did, we played with Depulsed. I'm trying to remember the bands we went out with. Depulsed and a couple other bands, and the first few days were like a little uncomfortable and this and that, and then the next
because you don't know each other.
Right, and then the next thing you know, after 3 days, next thing you know, everybody's making fun of everybody.
Which
everybody's having a great time.
What we call banter here in the UK.
Yeah. Everything always turns into banter, and
banter.
Sometimes I think that internal bleeding, as all of us, are a little overwhelming to meet at first.
Yeah.
Because we're very rapid fire. We curse a lot. We're like all the time. Yep. So I think people
a lot of talking
are overwhelmed by that.
Yeah, because I've noticed that with a lot of. When I went to New York, a lot of New Yorkers were just chatting non-stop, and I was like, "Man, these guys can chat."
Yeah, we don't shut up. you know. So that could be a little overwhelming for people, but
get a bit overwhelmed when people are chatting too much. But after a while, I'm just like, all right,
yeah,
I know you are.
It's just how we are. We just like to talk and bullshit and make fun.
I spoke to Terence Hobbs when they played with Niall, like I think it was 2016 or something, when they played went on tour, and I started chatting to Terence Hobbs, and well, he was speaking. Obviously he speaks a lot, and most of the time he was just chilled out.
Terence is awesome, dude.
Terence is cool because when Suffocation played again, they were on tour with Venom Inc. There's this little venue called Fiddlers here in Bristol. It's in a place called Bedminster. I saw Terence, and as soon as I said, "Hey, Terence," he was like, "All right, man. You remember who I was?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah, Terence is good, man. Terence is good.
And Derek as well.
Oh yeah,
you remembered who I was.
They're all great guys. They're all
great guys.
Yeah, sweethearts. All sweethearts.
I
Great
can't
guys.
remember the vocalist's name because he's the drummer in Discord.
Ricky.
Yeah, because he remembered me from that show as well. Kind of remembered me.
Ricky's awesome.
Yeah,
they're all awesome guys. Eric's an awesome guy. Charlie's an awesome guy.
Yeah,
they're all good people, you know.
Yeah, they're all brilliant. I've been listening to Suffocation since 2008 because I got into Cannibal Corpse in 2004. And then I heard Suffocation and Obituary, Morbid Angel, and then I started listening to all the Swedish stuff, Entombed, Dismember, Unleashed, Grave, and then I thought there's got to be some British death metal bands. So Boltfur, Benediction, just went from there.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, my taste is I still obviously listen to a lot of classic rock. I still listen to Black Sabbath. They're still going to be one of my favourite bands ever. My mum got me into Queen.
Their riffs, Sabbath's riffs hold up.
They still hold up today.
Exactly. And this stuff was done. You know, I try to explain it.
The album's like 70 years old now. Like the first album, Paranoid, they're 50 years old now because they came out in 1970.
Right, and they hold up.
They still hold up today.
The riffs crush. Everything crushes. You know, it's still haven't found the heavy. I still haven't found the heavier band. I found bands that down tune lower, but they're not heavy.
Yeah, they're all those like they listen to Sabbath thinking, oh yeah, that's down tune and be a bit heavier. And Sabbath is like, well, that's great and all, but
you have to be able to write the songs.
Yeah, because I'm trying to do that riffs, with a stoner doom death metal band I'm in. I'm just writing riffs, and our drummer actually like what I writ. I'm tuned down to B, but our guitarist is tuned down to like A because he's got a 7-string guitar.
Right.
I was like, yeah, Sabbath's still one of my favourite bands. Queen, I got into Queen when I was like 4, 5, maybe a bit like 3, 4, 5 years old. Yeah, because my mum's a massive fan of Queen. I got 2 of the albums in my collection. I got Sheer Heart Attack and Innuendo, which is like the last album Freddie actually did all the vocals on because they did an that album, then he passed away, and then Brian May finished the whole album off with his vocals.
Right, yeah.
Which sucks.
Great, yeah, it does. Great band.
Great, yeah.
All incredible musicians.
Yeah, I know I like a lot of death metal. I'm still going to be into like death metal, just going like, yeah.
Of course.
And then other times I'm like, oh, let's listen to some childhood stuff. Queen, Sabbath.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Elvis, I got into Elvis because my mum, and Earth, Wind and Fire, Cool and the Gang, Dire Straits because of my dad, because he's into that sort of stuff.
That's awesome.
But he knew about Judas Priest and Napalm Death because he heard Napalm Death on, I think, on the Pill sessions, and he knew who Napalm Death were, but he's not a fan of it.
Well, he heard them. That's all that matters.
He heard them. He knew who they were because he heard the name, and heard them on John Peel because he was like the biggest one here in Britain. He had all sorts. He had Queen, David Bowie. He had Napalm Death, Godflesh, Bolt Thrower, Nirvana.
He had Black Sabbath back in the day
as well. Yep. He had all of them. Is there anyone like that in the States who did that sort of thing, or not?
No, not really.
No. Well, I might have just been John Peel. Really. Everyone's just like, let's go see John.
We have a lot of. I don't know if you do in the UK, but we have a lot of college radio. University. So
really?
all the new acts like all the new acts are always broken on college radio. So there's radio. Lots of universities have radio stations.
Yeah, we got radio stations. There's like some bands go on there because my mate's band, Voluntas, they played Bloodstock last year. Really great band. They had an interview and they were playing their EP album, which I've heard is fantastic. So I was listening to the album while they were on the radio show, and I was like, wow, this is great. And
yeah, so we never had Appeal, but we always had college radio that played Nirvana before Nirvana. Nobody knew who Nirvana was. Played Soundgarden before nobody knew who Soundgarden was. Played all the punk rock before anybody knew what punk rock was or stuff. So it was all broken on college radio in America, and it would filter up to the mainstream from college radio.
Yeah.
Which is not like that anymore because I don't know if anybody really listens to radio anymore. So.
No, well, the only time I listen to a radio station is on the internet now.
Right. That's
not actually just turn on your radio and you got that. Well, here in Britain we got radio stations. There's only one that plays like classic metal and rock, and that's Sam FM.
Okay.
And there's like one called Heart and Kiss, but Kiss radio plays like a lot of dance and R&B stuff, which I just do not like. So
not my thing either.
Not my thing. I'd rather just have, if there's a radio station that plays nothing but extreme music, then I'll just stay with that.
Right.
Because there's a festival called Beer Mageddon, and there's all sorts on his radio station. He's got Bolt Thrower, Bathory. He's got my band Herbicidal on there.
Nice.
Bunch of bands actually. He's got like doom, death, black, thrash, hard rock.
Mixes it all up.
And that's so like with me, I'll just listen to all of it.
Awesome.
I'll listen to all of it. I don't listen to every single, because people might look at me and think, you listen to death metal, so you like every death metal band. You're not gonna like every death metal band because
you can't.
That's just silly. That's just silly if you like every death metal band. It's like if I just liked everything one death metal band brought out. There might be one album I'm like, okay, that's a bit odd that they put some of that in it, but okay. There's a couple of songs I might like, but apart from that, I might not like the entire album.
Right. Well, yeah, I think that's with everything.
That's with everything.
Yeah.
That's everything. That's it.
Totally.
Just sorting out the boot, sorting out your goatee.
I gotta do something. It's getting itchy.
Yeah, I haven't shaved this in a while. I trimmed it down, but I haven't shaved it.
Oh, I'd wake up in the morning with it in my mouth. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, mine ends up, these bits always end up pushed this way, and I'm just like, just got to get my hairbrush and brush it.
Not for me. Too much work.
It is a lot of work, just keeping your beard tidy. Yeah, I was actually looking forward to seeing you with Cattle Decapitation.
Oh man, me too. I'm so pissed that tour got canceled.
Yeah, because I was actually supposed to be going to New Zealand.
Oh, nice.
Well, holiday, because I got relatives that live over there, and we're supposed to be going at the end of this year in October, but I don't know if that's happening because their borders are still closed. If they're still closed throughout the year, then
you don't know.
I'll accept that and go another time.
Yeah, you have to just play everything by ear because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, because I think I don't know if the tour you're doing with Cattle has been rescheduled or not, but if it is, and I'm still going to New Zealand, it's like I'm missing it.
Yeah, they're working on rescheduling it. I just don't know when.
Well, hopefully soon, because not before I started doing these chats, like just chatting to people, I was filming bands just because I love the music and thought people need to know who these bands are.
Right.
So I filmed a lot of bands just because I love the music.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's it. I just film. I just get my phone, press record, and the last band I filmed was a one-man band from Wales.
Oh wow!
Called Misanthropia.
Okay.
And I filmed a bunch of the Bristol bands like Body Harvest, big Bristol band, Separation, Embodiment. There's one called Crypt Worm, which is like Undergang and Fed It and Two Mold and bands like that. That like Evil. I'm saying Evil sound because of how the production is.
Right.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, I get it.
With Undergang, you can tell it's just evil sounding just by the guitars and the vocals. His vocals are freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, Undergang's great.
Yeah, they're a great band. Well, I can actually picture them playing with you guys, actually. So you got them, and then you guys playing afterwards. Is like, so we got some
that'd be a nice
sounding death metal with some old school style slam.
Yeah, that would be a great mix, man. I would love to play with them.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I was actually going to ask which bands would you like to play with? Well, Undergang for one. Is there any others?
Yeah, Undergang is definitely a band I'd like to play with. I'd like to play with Ultimus or I Am Morbid. I'd like to play with.
Oh, I Am Morbid. Yeah.
They're fucking tight as hell, man. They're great. But we've played with a lot of the bands. I'm trying to think. We played with a lot of the bands that. I'm fortunate. Most of the bands that I love, we've played with, So I'm pretty lucky in that respect. So I'm trying to reach. I want to play with Cattle Decapitation. That was on my bucket list, and of course that tour got canceled, which really stinks.
Yeah, sucks.
But there's no band like I'm dying to play with. Like, oh my god, I really want to play with them. I don't think there's any band I'm dying to play with. I want to play with every band that I can play with.
Yeah.
So I don't have I'd like to play with Grave.
Yeah, Grave we good.
They're still one of my favorite bands. I've never played with them. I've seen them, but I've never played with them.
Yeah, I've seen Grave. I've seen Dismember. I saw them last year. I actually saw Grave and Dismember in Sweden.
Oh, nice. We played with Grave, Dismember back in the 90s. So I already played with them. I never played with Grave. I saw Grave. I never played with them. So I'd like to play with them. I'd like to, well, we did play with Belphegor. I was going to say I'd like to play with Belphegor, but we played with them. We've done so many festivals. We've done a lot of big festivals. So we played with a lot of bands that I like. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard to, put a list together of the bands that I haven't played with that I want to play with,
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Belphegor, Austrian band.
Yep. I love them.
Do you like Pungent Stench?
Yes. Hell yeah.
Pungent Stench. Did you ever get to play with them or did you never get the chance?
No, never got the chance to play with them. I would have loved to.
Yeah, that would have been good. So you guys, Pungent Stench.
That would be fun.
I could picture a poster now, like an old school gig poster. Just you guys.
I still listen to
smaller bands. You guys and them.
I still listen to Been Caught Buttering quite a bit. It's a great album. It's funny. It's good musicianship.
Yeah, they're a great band. They always had like different things to their music.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything. So it's like. Who was it? That Austrian band, Disharmonic Orchestra.
Yeah, never played with them. I like them. I never played with them.
And there's Disastrous Murmur as well. That Austrian.
They're sick. Yeah, they're sick.
So I think they don't get talked about as much because Pungent Stench is a big band, Belphegor's a big band, but I think they got pushed aside a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I think so. I think you're right.
A little bit, not too much. And then they'll probably be like, "Oh, check out our friends in these bands or whatever."
Right.
It's just. Well, at the moment, we can't go to gigs, we can't go to festivals, we can't socialize.
Oh, I know. It sucks, dude.
Can't meet up with people, or your friends, your family, or girlfriends, boyfriends.
Now, we actually have a bunch of shows booked for September. I just hope they go through. They're booked. They haven't been canceled, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens.
So gigging might start again. So
let's hope.
I hope so, man. I really do, because Can't stand this.
Let's hope we can see more bands again, because I miss going out to gigs.
Yeah, man.
I miss hanging out with people. I miss it.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, I'm just either stuck indoors doing nothing, or I'm hopefully go out for a walk if it's not raining. Or if I want to meet up with mates, we have to stay 2 meters apart anyway.
Right. I know.
Sucks.
It's crazy.
It's like,
you can do it. I mean, I do it. I belong to a car club, and we still have meetings. We take our cars to meetings, and we just stand apart from each other. Maybe not 2 meters exactly, but we keep some distance from each other, and it's still fun. You know, it's not the same, but it's still fun.
No, it's not the same. Still fun.
Yeah.
No, but better, because one thing I miss is giving all my mates a hug.
Yeah, sure.
Even my girlfriend a hug as well. I miss doing that. I miss doing all that shit.
Yeah.
Most important thing is just going to gigs, because that's like an outlet you got. If you're annoyed, you're pissed off, or you're sad or something, you go to a gig and you're fine.
Right. The gig wipes all that away. I know, man.
Wipes it all away.
Yep.
And then you find it until you go back home and you're just like, well, start a new day.
Yep.
I'm pissed off. Oh, I'm pissed off again.
Yeah, but that makes you look forward to the next gig. So.
Yes, because I went on a podcast and my mate Phil asked me, because it's his podcast, it's called Phil's Breakfast Metal. He said, on average, how many gigs do you go to a week? And it's like 3, sometimes 4, depending.
Well, that's fucking professional.
It depends on the band and if I got the money to do so.
Right.
If I got enough money, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go see this band.
Yeah, when I was younger, I'd do 3 or 4 gigs a week. But that doesn't even exist anymore around here where I live. Back in the day, there used to be 3 or 4. In the summer, there'd be a gig like every night you could go to. But now it's like hasn't been like that in a couple of years. Now it's like there's usually like 2 big gigs a month around by where I am.
Mm.
It's not the same.
Yeah, we get like
whatever
3,
Still
4,
good to get out.
even 5 gigs sometimes. Maybe less than that. I might be exaggerating on that, but
right. I get it.
Because Bristol's got a big scene as well. London's got a big scene. How big's the scene in New York at the moment? How many new bands appeared?
You know what? It's hit or miss. If a big known band plays, a lot of people show up.
Yeah.
If a semi-known band or an unknown band plays, nobody shows up.
Yeah, that's so. They always turn up for the big well-known bands. Me, I turn up to bands obviously the big well-known ones. I even turn up to them if they're semi-known or unknown. I still turn up and watch their shows. Right.
I mean, there's some it's not like it used to be. It used to be people would show any death metal show, everybody would go to. It used to be packed. All the shows used to be packed all the time, and now it's just not like that anymore.
No, it's just some.
Around here, if you're playing a hardcore band, though, your show will be packed.
So everyone just turn up to a hardcore show. Yeah, I've noticed that. Even here in the UK, when there's been like hardcore bands playing, you just get everywhere. Especially punk gigs here.
Hardcore's huge here in New York, so
especially punk gigs here, you just get a lot of people going to punk shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you get a lot of people at punk shows. A lot of them go to metal shows. I tend to try and mix it up. I try to go to some punk shows, but I always go to metal shows.
Right.
Because being a metalhead, I've been a metalhead since I was 11. So there you go.
Right.
I'm 28 and everyone thinks, oh, it's a phase. He's going to grow out of it. No. I'm not going to grow out of it anytime soon. I'm still going to be listening to this music when I'm a completely old man.
If it's a phase, it's been a 48-year phase for me. So I don't think it's a phase,
Yeah, this has been a 17-year phase for me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you're growing out of it,
No, never.
Yeah, good.
Never.
No. Excuse me. We need more people like that.
Yeah, because there's some people that get into metal and then oh yeah, I was in the metal scene for a while, and then I stopped. And he's like, okay, and then you didn't obviously enjoy it then.
If you're not passionate about it, you won't stick around.
No, I'm passionate about it. I'm going to stick around until, well, I'm no longer breathing. That's the case.
Right. I want to see what metal looks. I want to see what metal looks like in 20 years when I'm 70. You know.
Yeah, I want to see that because, well, obviously, like I said, I'm 30 next year, and then 10 years after that, when it gets to 2030, when it gets to 2021, I'm 30. 2031, I'm 40. So
right. Yeah. It'll be cool to see where it goes. You know.
Yeah, I want to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I'll be
absolutely.
like, oh, there's some good bands, but a lot of it, it's not like when I was listening to it. Nah.
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes you might be like, oh, some new bands are, and it's not like bands back then or whatever. But then there are bands that I like, and like, oh, they're good.
It's cool.
You know, I don't.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch things. It's fun to watch things change and progress and regress, and over the span of time. It's fun to watch it happen.
Yeah, because there was that time where death metal, it didn't have as soon in the 80s. All of a sudden, late 80s, it started popping up everywhere. Early 90s, it was like being talked about on news reports and stuff like that. And then mid 90s, it was kind of going downhill. Late 90s, it wasn't really being talked about. It was only like until maybe like mid 2000 it started popping up again.
And it's been mainstreamed now.
Yeah.
It has been. It's not as dangerous as it was when it first came out because it's been around for so long now. It's not dangerous. When it first came out, people were, a lot of people were afraid of it and this and that. They had these bands that were so over the top, that were just crazy, and people were like, "Oh my God, what is this?" So it had a big spark to it. But now it's like it's mainstream, and that's okay. That's just the way things happen when things get older.
Yeah.
Death
metal's been around. Well, yeah. It was coming big in the 80s, so it's been around for like, I don't know, 30 plus years now.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's been around a lot longer than I have. I only got into it like 2004. So when it was starting back up again, I guess, is when I got into it.
Right. Cool.
So for your CDs, T-shirts, whatever the hell you sell now, you can probably sell a big giant beard mug for all I know. Where can we buy your stuff?
You can buy our stuff at you can go to our website, which is internal-bleeding.com.
Yep.
We have a lot of merch there. Yep. I think in Europe you can get our CDs and some merch through Empiricon.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. You can also get stuff through Indie Merch in America. I think those are pretty much the three outlets that you can get stuff from.
Well, there you go.
There's another merch company. I know they do merch. I know they're in America, but they have pretty decent shipping prices to Europe. It's called Massacre Merch.
Massacre. I think I know that one.
Massacre Merch, massacremerch.com, and they have a bunch of unique like IB shirts that nobody else has, and their quality is out of control. It's so good, probably the best quality printing I've ever seen. So so they're a good company. You can go order stuff from them too. So
that's good. It's just so people know where they can get your stuff from.
Right, and on the stuff you order on our website, I think shipping throughout most of Europe is only for anything is almost. I think it's only $5.
All right, it's not too bad.
No, because we have distribution. Like I worked it out through my website that we have distribution in Europe. So if somebody orders one of the shirts that we have in our store, it's already over in Europe, and they ship it from Europe. So you don't have to pay you don't have to pay $15 to ship a fucking shirt. You only have to pay $5. So it's worked out really good because we were getting we were selling a lot of stuff on our website because we get a lot of traffic to our website, but the prices for shipping to Europe just have gone through the roof. So everybody stopped ordering because why pay $20 for a shirt and then pay another $15 for shipping? It doesn't make sense. So I worked out this deal now that it's like it's reasonable to ship stuff in Europe. So we're pretty happy with what we got set up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I'm going to be buying more merch because I need more CDs. I like buying CDs. T-shirt.
CDs are hard to find.
CDs are hard to. Well, your first album's proving hard to find.
The first album's hard to find. I think you can buy our second album on Amazon.
I think that's where I got.
It looks like that second album you got from Amazon.
Oh, wait, now I remember how I got your second album. I got it for a Christmas present.
Right, that's from Amazon. So
that's
you
right.
can get. I think you can get our second album on Amazon and our third album. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then I think if you go to the Unique Leader website, you can get some of our albums too.
I'll look on there later. Well, before we go, I'm going to ask you a few more questions and just chat generally. Okay. What's been the best show you've played throughout the years? Like, if you were to pick 3, because you mentioned the one in '94.
Let's see. Yeah, that Milwaukee Metal Fest was definitely one of the best. Hammer Sonic in Indonesia.
Oh, nice.
And then the third would be we played a show in a place called Amqui, which is all the way in the top of Canada. Okay, and we played in a hockey arena, and the hockey arena was like sold out. It was insane, and it was like I think it was us, Cryptopsy.
Nice, I like Cryptopsy.
Gore Guts, like it was a crazy show, and we actually did our set twice because they wouldn't let us off the stage.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so. Those would be my 3 favorites. Hi.
Oh man.
Sorry, that's my wife.
Oh, hello.
She's gone.
Oh, too late.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's mental.
So those would be my 3 favorite.
Oh, playing your set twice. That's cool.
If it wasn't twice, we played like half of it again or something like that because we ran out of material.
You still count it as another one.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Your favorite bourbon, because I saw a bourbon on your smoking sessions.
All right. So
what was the bourbon you were drinking? What's that one? Because it looked really nice.
Which one? I drink bourbon.
It was the one with Travis.
All right, I think that was Knob Creek 12-year-old bourbon.
Yeah, because you said if you put a
drop of water in it. That's a really it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite, and if you drink it without water, it tastes like shit. But if you put 2 drops of water in it, it is so good. It becomes a whole new drink. It's really great. It's not my favorite. So my favorite would be Pappy Van Winkle 20-year-old. But right now that costs like $1,000 a bottle, so I would never buy it.
Okay then.
I used to buy it 10 years ago. I used to be able to buy it for like $80 a bottle, $90 a bottle, but now it's like collectors are buying it. It's $1,000 a bottle.
That's just
it's insane. So I wouldn't drink it. So my favorite affordable bourbon would be called Henry McKenna.
Don't think I know. I don't think we have it here, but
no, I doubt you have it here. It's a very for the price.
We have it.
Very good bourbon. Yeah, it's a very good bourbon.
I don't think we have it. I've had Bullet bourbon, but yeah.
Yeah, you have some bourbon over there.
Yeah, we got Bullet bourbon. We got.
You have Bullet.
I know we got more, but I'm gonna have to talk to my mate earlier because he's more on the spirits side of things.
I know you have Jim Beam.
Yeah, we got Jim Beam. We got
which is disgusting.
Fair enough.
But when we played in Manchester, I remember drinking a lot of Bullet bourbon. So
yeah, I had a bottle of it. It's all gone now.
Yeah, Bullet's good. Bullet's not bad.
Yeah, sometimes I drink it straight, or I just put a mixer with it.
Right.
I'm trying to think what
That would be my favorite.
Yeah, and last one.
Okay.
If you could meet one of your favorite musicians, who would it be, and what would you ask him?
Well, I already met Tony Iommi, so it can't be him.
Cool. Oh, you met Tony. That's cool.
Yeah. It would be Al Di Meola.
Did you?
Do you know who he is?
I think I do. What band is he in?
He's a guitar player.
Yeah, which band?
He's a jazz guitar player.
Oh, I don't listen to a lot of jazz, so I won't know. I think I've heard his name floating around.
You have to listen to some of his older stuff because it shreds. So I would ask him. The first thing I would ask him is, how do you play like that?
I think that's how you would just ask him. How do you play this way? If you could send me a link to any of his stuff, I'll listen to it.
Yeah, I will. I'll send you.
Just send all the stuff.
It's like death metal. That's because
it's very jazzy.
It's like tech death.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Atheist now. They had like that jazzy technical element in their music.
Yeah, but it's like super complicated and really just.
I can't do complicated riffs. I'm only limited to doing to what you guys can do, and
right. So
that's
but
about
I love listening to it because it's like some of his stuff, like, and he's very diverse. Like, he can go from shredding craziness to like these beautiful waltzes and beautiful Spanish sounding music, and then flip the script and go into like this awesome Egyptian sounding stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
So versatile of a guitar player, and he can play in any, in all kinds of crazy time signatures and this and that. It just, like, the talent is just ridiculous.
Yeah, because I listen to a lot of folk music as well. I've listened to a lot of like soundtrack music, because I listen to one called Slaughter Dave.
Okay.
He's in a band called Acid Witch.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, he's the vocalist for Acid Witch, and he's got his own little like sort of 80s music like album he's been doing, and I've heard some of it. And it's like, wow, this is like proper like John Carpenter worship or something.
Oh, nice.
So it's like that sort of thing. I like John Carpenter's music. I got one of his CDs. It's called Lost Feeling.
No, he's really good.
That's what I like about John Carpenter. He directs his films, or produces them, or does both direct and produce, and he writes his own music.
Yeah, he scores them too. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Oh yeah, totally brilliant.
That's why I like that sort of stuff, because there's sometimes when I'm like, it's going back to projects and stuff. Want to do something like that, just write like a horror movie soundtrack and send it off to someone. Like, oh, cool, I like this. Can I use it? Yeah, all right.
That would be cool.
That
would be cool, man.
I love to do that sort of stuff. I'm trying to do a folk project as well. One of my favourite folk bands is called Wardruna from Norway.
Okay.
Brilliant. The main guy, Einar, he's absolutely fantastic. He can just play about nearly every single Norse instrument there.
Right.
And there's one called Highland, which is like Denmark, Norway, and Germany, all over the place. Wow. And their music's very dark and atmospheric. And there's Danheim, another Norse folk project, band, group. And Dan the Bard, he's English, does a lot of Celtic, like folk songs and stuff. I mean, fantastic.
Oh, cool.
Very diverse. So my music is very diverse.
That's good.
It's very good. When I'm not listening to metal, it'll be that.
Okay.
I exclude drum and bass and dubstep because that's not my thing.
Right.
But I listen to like a lot of heavy industrial music and goth industrial music and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like a bit of that as well. So thank you very much for taking the time to come on Jake's Metal Chat.
Yeah, man. I
metal
hope,
and whiskies and bourbons.
Yeah, sure, man. Anytime you want to chat.
Yeah, just let me know when you want to chat.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you, anybody who's watching. Thank you for watching. Hope everybody's safe and happy and well. And
staying safe, keeping in contact with people, and you're just keeping safe and everything. So
That's all we can do.
And I hope to see you on tour again when this is all over.
Oh, I hope so too, man. Thank you so much for the chance.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
Have a great evening.
You too, mate.
All right, brother. Take care.
Brother. Take care.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Wow. Now, great chat on Jake's Metal Chat. Hang on a minute, let me just check something on. Got a message. What's this? Oh, look at that in a minute. Yeah, that was Chris from Internal Bleeding, having a long chat about his band, the scene in New York, and everything like that. So thank you for tuning in once again. And I've got another one on Saturday with Kelly from Solifus, Yawning Void, and Sepulchral Curse. And no, Sepulchral Curse. I might have said it right the first time. Anyway, keep safe, stay well, and just look after each other.